Plus, it is apparently a growing trend here, runaway husbands bolting without warning. We're talking with our relationship expert about what some studies are calling Wife Abandonment Syndrome. Wow. It's very interesting the number of years that pass in the marriage before that happens.
Yes, I was shocked actually by that.
We'll get some info on that. Good morning, everybody. We're following several things for you. I'm Michelle Berto for this 9 o'clock hour of Good Day.
And I'm Amy Koffa. Thanks for being with us. It really has been a wild morning news-wise. Right now, we want to get to your forecast. Let's get right over to Jim Van Fleet, find out what's going on weather-wise. Hey, Jim.
Men afraid of commitment?
Gee, shocking, right?
All right. Maybe there's a new spin on that.
Welcome back. It's 9:22 right now. We've all heard of the runaway brides, but now it seems more and more husbands are lacing up their sneakers and they are bolting, leaving their wives after years of marriage. And joining us now this morning, relationship expert Janie Lacy to talk about why we're suddenly seeing this trend. And you know, I think that we think first and foremost of the big celebrity marriages that have breakups after decades. I think a lot of people were shocked when Alan Tipper Gore split up after 20-some years of marriage. So those are the ones that we often think of or that come to mind, but this actually happens to everyday people all the time.
It does, and it's very devastating, and a lot of times people do think of either celebrities or they think of couples that have not been married that long. But usually what we see, it's usually long-term marriages when people think they're stable, they're happy, and it comes out of the blue.
So what are some of the warning signs, specifically I guess, that women need to be looking for in their partners that might give them some kind of signal this could be about to happen?
Well, it's also important to say that most women in particular do not see a lot of the signs. They do think they're happy, they do think they're in a stable relationship, and many times people get complacent in their relationship and they start functioning. But there are some warning signs, and a lot of times it starts with going back. First, do we know that husband or that partner's past? Have they had affairs in the past? Have they left their previous wife or previous girlfriend for you? Because what that tells us is that they're capable of doing that type of behavior. And then there's other things that are common, but sometimes in these situations when they're long-time relationships, they're more subtle. Is he now taking more interest in his body? Is he dyeing his hair where he wasn't interested in doing that before? Does he want to go out and get that expensive sports car and show off? So those are some other things that women in particular can look at. But what they'll do is say he's going through a midlife crisis, he's just going through stress at work, he needs to relieve stress. So a lot of times they'll blame it on something else. And one of the other things that we'll see is they will pretend they'll start becoming snappy, showing anger at their wife or their kids. So there's some things as far as their moods that will change, that wives can notice.
One of the things I thought was interesting is that what we're seeing now is what a lot of women go through. It's wife abandonment syndrome, that they literally feel like they've lost their whole world. And how do you start over after you've been married to someone for 20 years? How do you?
And it is abandonment, because going back to, they do think they're happy, they do think they're stable, they've made it past the 7-year itch.
Right.
I mean, these are long-term relationships, so they get into a place where they're shocked and they're bewildered. You know, what happened? How did this happen? And they'll get into even anger and rage and obsessive. What happened? Where did he go? So many times it's important for them to realize if they get to this stage where he's usually leaving for another woman, and it's usually a younger woman that's now, what we'll see is that she's not as accomplished as his wife and as outstanding in the community or whatever it may be, but this other woman does admire him, treats him like he's everything.
Right,
so
right, like a king, like the king they all expect to be treated like,
so there's something being fulfilled in there. So I'm saying that for her to realize that usually it's already over. Because of the shock, they'll realize that, you know what, I'm going to try to win him back, and they'll put so much energy into trying to figure out how to fix it. But usually he's already gone. He's already been planning it.
So, I mean, really, seek professional help. I mean, you almost have to.
Seek professional help, get support, really start taking care of yourself, getting a plan to get your family together, especially if there are children involved.
Oh, yeah, that's the worst part. All right. Always great to talk to you, Janie Lacy. Such a tough subject. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Michelle.
All right. Thanks, guys.